Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Chrono Trigger. In the last part, we made ourselves a destination here in the land of Zeal, and now we're leaving. We're actually not really leaving. This skyway here is actually just to get from island to island. Though I would find it odd that the citizens of Zeal have to go down to basically the Ice Age to get from place to place. Huh. Odd.
I think it's a pretty interesting idea.
It is from a cultural standpoint, but why would they want to brave what could be a potentially dangerous area in order to do that? Anyway, there's two destinations here for us. First off, let's check out the Blackbird. No, that's a familiar sounding name. Haven't we heard that somewhere before?
We have heard it before.
Oh, that's right. Didn't that guy in 3000 say something about that?
In the dome where he was like, did you see my masterpieces?
The Blackbird and the something else.
Blackbird and the Ocean Palace,
Huh.
I think.
Also, we just completely missed someone. That was Dalton. You'll learn to hate Dalton. We'll see why
He's
eventually.
a bitch. That's the Sun Keep down there.
Yeah, keep that place in mind for later. And now we're in the next city. I believe this is Kjar, which is basically the scientific area of the city. Oh, this guy's actually mentioning the Sun Keep. Actually, a lot of people in Zeal mention the Sun Keep and the Sunstone within it. Apparently, the Sunstone will get energy as long as it's in the sunlight. So let's keep that in mind if we ever need, like, an infinite energy source. You're being very quiet, Kenny.
I am very quiet because I'm focusing on what I should say.
Scala? Who the hell is Scala?
Scala? I've always said Shala. I don't know why.
The CH always came out as a K sound to me.
Because school, like, kind of like that.
Yeah, also, that new actually mentioned something called a load shield. Is that, like, supposed to be a joke of the fact there's no shield slot in this game?
I'm not really sure. I feel like maybe that could have been a typo of sorts because like you get load stuff in this
One of the next areas.
in this area. You just don't get shield.
Yeah, the shields are one of the few equipment slots that aren't really in the game, so I guess that's either a joke of that or a mistranslation. Also, I think it was a magic tab there, or was it a speed tab? The way you're supposed to tell that that's there is that the window that's there in the previous room, you can see a sparkle. Also, apparently this noob may have been hiding some of this guy's stuff. Hey, give it up. I guess he won't talk to us.
Boy.
The noobs are a very odd character design, though. Like, I don't even think I can think of anything in Dragon Ball that looks quite like them.
I love that little poof of hair they have.
It's like a mohawk. Though it's weird, I'm thinking back, the noobs aren't really present much in Chrono Cross. There's only what could be considered a one, and even then, an argument as to whether that counts. And that noob that I just talked to right there, the sleeping one, he's who tells you about the book stuff back, that little book puzzle, the wind, water, fire. Or is it water, wind, fire? One of the two.
Water, wind, fire. Water summons wind. Wind makes the fire dance.
Yes, that's how you're supposed to know to do that. And Balthazar, but how the hell would Balthazar be in 12,000 BC if he's in 3000 AD?
2300.
I'm bad at dates, I can't help it. Either way, now we're gonna get rid of this place's little book puzzle. I do have to admit that this area took me a while to figure out how to do it because some of these books don't look interactable. And in here we get
It's a doll.
a doll.
Cute.
Weird. But the doll has a black rock. The black rock is the first in a chain of items that I believe you have to equip it to one of the three party members. If you have it equipped to one of the three members that it mentions, that gives those three characters access to a new triple tech. And usually,
You'll notice that.
usually the most powerful.
all the triple techs so far use Chrono.
Yeah, that actually, yeah, that's the way it works. Most of the ones the rocks are for ones that don't have Chrono. Like you noticed, we don't even have the third character for the next one that I just got there, but that one needs Maru, Luca, and someone else. Generally speaking, triple techs are very damaging, but honestly, my big mindset with them is that I could probably do more damage with either 3 single techs or 1 dual tech and a single tech, or at least equivalent damage for less MP usually.
I usually go with single text by the end of the game.
There's only one boss fight I can remember off the top of my head where I consistently use a triple tech. And here's Zeal Palace. And this song is playing again. This played in Magus', didn't it?
I don't recall.
And apparently, Marl's pendant resembles Scala's for some reason. Okay. That's one thing I actually really like about this section of the game is the amount of questions it at the same time answers, but also leaves open, because this is around the time where you're just like, what the hell is going on? Also, that new is moonwalking.
Wait, he is. That's weird. I never noticed that, actually.
And apparently the Ocean Palace is under construction, but how the hell would Balthazar have built it? Time travel is weird.
My, what strange clothes. Here, use this to help you.
This right here. The queen ordered this lady to burn this sapling. However, you want her to tell her to secretly plant it. Doing this... you never lose out on a chance to do this, I believe, actually. But I'm just doing it now. That will enable us to do a certain side quest later on.
And the side quest is good.
Yeah, it's actually one of the better ones. And we're gonna scratch this news back. Wonder what the skin feels like. The sprite makes me feel like it would probably feel like a shark based off the color.
Yeah, I get the feeling that it would feel kind of scaly.
Yeah. Anyway, now that we know that weak spot on the back, let's scratch this news back. Back in Kjar. Oh, dude, gross. He had a magic tab in his mouth. Ugh. I guess that explains why he wasn't
Gross.
talking, though. Actually, I never thought about that. Huh. And if you're wondering how long the backtrack to Kjar took, that was about maybe 2 minutes. Not even. Dalton's in a bad nude? A nude?
Okay,
Oh,
dude.
God. No, that's an image that I did not need in my eyes. He's in a bad mood, so we should avoid him. And apparently, the three... Chrono Trigger, what?
Roll credits!
That would be a really interesting point to do it. But apparently the three gurus of Zeal have more or less disappeared. Balthazar, what were the other two? I remember what one of them is. I forget what the third one's called. Gaspar and Melchior, curiously enough. That's a coincidence. Maybe Melchior in our time was like a descendant of the guy or something. Hey, it's that kid from earlier. And I guess that's Scala.
I love this theme, by the way.
This is Scala's theme, isn't it? It
Yes,
only
it
plays
is.
like twice in the game, if I recall.
Twice in the game.
Apparently, the boy. First off, his name is Yanis. I'm probably gonna alternate between those two. He notes that his mother, their mother rather, looks the same but is not herself anymore. Something has gone wrong with her.
Well, that reminds me of a certain plot point in a certain Final Fantasy game.
That came out after this.
Yes, it did.
Actually, you say that, but a certain character's design actually reminds me of a certain character from 9. Very, not much, but enough, particularly. I'll get to that when we get... I'll tell you that off screen, though. Okay, so let's follow Scala and see what to do.
I never thought about that.
One of those doors.
I have a feeling I know who you're talking about.
It's one of those doors.
The secret is revealed.
So, a pendant can open the door? And ours just looks like Scala's. So, like this guy's saying, maybe we should communicate with that mammon machine thing to see if anything happens. Get out of my way.
This leads to the Hall of the Mammon Machine.
The mammon machine, as these characters are going to describe as we talk to him in the mammon machine room, is essentially... I don't know who built it. I think maybe Balthazar or something. Built this to channel Lavos' power, and it's what gave them the ability to use magic, essentially. Which is odd, because first off, how would you do that? And secondly, why would you make it look so demonic?
Because plot significance, maybe.
Yeah, I guess. Let's offer up our pen and see if anything happens. Well, things are glowing red. Well, that just happened. Let's go check that door out again. But before I do that, I do want to switch my party to have Ayla in. And apparently I thought I edited this out. What am I doing? Oh, that's what I'm switching around in accessories. If I actually had remembered this, I probably would have had something to talk about. Oh, that's right, man. Wait, what am I doing, actually? I have honestly no idea what I'm doing.
I do that a lot in Chrono Trigger. Like, I try and open the menu and see if I will do something. Oh, you're probably preparing for...
Yeah, something.
Like,
I know I was preparing for something, but I forget what I was doing in there. Either way, now we've talked to the Man Machine, mysteriously enough, Marl's pendant worked like Scala's.
Does that mean any pendant would work? If it had the energy absorber, or is it just that specific pendant?
I don't know, and this is a prophet. Oh, that's right, the prophet. We didn't mention him. Apparently, this prophet's been advising the queen recently, and he's been very good at predicting events. And the prophet and the queen want to set up here, so Dalton is summoning a golem, which, fun fact, I didn't realize where this thing's face was for years. I thought the thing at the top was the face. I didn't notice the one in the belly. Either way, the Golem is actually the only new enemy this part. 7,000 HP, 1,000 XP, 35 TP, 2,000 gold. You can charm a magic tab for it, which is why I brought Ayla in. And one of its main attacks is that little black ball attack. I think I may have already done it, which basically halves HP. Now, the way that this boss fight works, though, is the Golem mimics any element you use on it. Like, so say if I used the water spell, it would have started using very damaging water techniques on me. However, whenever it shifts elements, its script resets. So what you want to do is constantly just spam elemental attacks like lightning followed by ice followed by lightning followed by ice, so that script constantly resets, and thus it doesn't get a turn in edgewise. Kind of pathetic, honestly.
Possibly done on purpose.
Very possibly, actually, because as we'll see, Dalton. This is one of Dalton's soldiers, by the way. He specializes in leading these things for some reason. He's an idiot. Completely an idiot. So his soldiers being the same would be understandable. Yeah, Dalton does suck. Which is why the FMV ending of the PlayStation version of this game pisses me off all the more.
Oh dear.
Admittedly, this fight...
The light...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Admittedly, this fight can take a while just due to the fact that he has a lot of HP, but honestly, it's very easy if you realize this trick. Cube Toss is also a pretty good alternative just because it does more damage. Or Ice Toss, rather. Cube Toss is the upgrade. I keep on forgetting about that. Either way, go ahead to what you were going to say.
I was just saying that the lightning looks really glitchy.
Is that what it always looks like? Because I could have sworn that's what it looked like on my Super Nintendo cart.
That's not what it looks like on the emulation system. I think it's just the way that Camtasia records it.
Yeah, frame rates are probably a thing. But yeah, what an odd enemy design. It's weird. Akira Toriyama seems to have brought out some of his most original ideas for this game in particular. Like even Dragon Quest, while I love the enemy designs in that, a lot of them are fairly generic in concept. Like random skeleton, random slime, so on and so forth. Whereas in this game, we get whatever the hell this thing is.
Also, the thing you mentioned about the faces, I only saw the one on the belly, not the one on the top.
I actually remember the first time first off, it's copying Dalton. This is a fairly low damage attack that it does upon death. I'll actually go back onto what I was going to say later then, because it'll be more prevalent. Well, Dalton, how do you feel about that? Why didn't you just do this from the start? No, seriously, why didn't they just imprison us from the start? That is a legit question.
Well, why? Also, why did they walk into it?
No, they got sucked in.
Or did it suck in?
It was like a black hole kind of thing. I swear...
Second time Scala's theme plays.
I swear I've seen this exact kind of prison scene in one of the PlayStation Final Fantasies. Or was it one of the PS2? I forget. Either way, for some reason,
don't know.
And I guess it's because, as we saw earlier, Yanis noted that their mother was different. Scala is going along and helping us. Seems that Scala's the one that has her head on straight around here for some reason. Melchior? Melchior was actually sent to the what was it? Mountain of Woe, wasn't it?
Mountain of Woe?
As a prison. So we were gonna go check that out, but the Prophet's here, so I guess boss battle time again? Oh, it's a cute little kitty.
Kitten.
Oh, what's that cat's name again? Because that cat actually has a name.
Come on, I know this. Alfredor.
Alfredor, right. That Alfredor actually only likes Yanis for some reason. Which is odd that it seemed fairly friendly towards the Prophet. Either way, the Prophet seems to know that we did not come here through normal means, so he's gonna have Scala send us back through the portal. Which is odd, because we could just do that ourselves, but... yeah.
Come on. Goodbye.
They actually wave goodbye, too. However, unlike previously, Scala is having... the Prophet is having Scala essentially put a lock over the gates. We cannot get back here through that gate...
ever.
For a while. Oh, ever?
I believe it's ever. No,
I could have
that's
sworn
not
it
true.
reopened eventually.
Never mind. Never mind.
It does reopen way later down the road, but for now, we cannot use that gate. We can use the one that we used to get to it. It's equivalent here in 65 million, I believe, just to get to the end of time. But beyond that... oh, no, we can't. Never mind. Either way, as Marl is noting... since we're now locked out of that way, we need to find another way to get back to that time period. And she noted that she had indeed seen that design on doors before. A curious crest is engraved here. Some unknown power keeps it sealed.
Fun fact, even if you've never been there, it's that, like, that little segment still shows.
Essentially, remember the doors with that pattern and the black chests we've seen throughout the game? Now, with the pendant, we can open them. Which means... time for optional side quests!
No.
Because we need to get all those chests opened up because there is some good stuff in them. First off, we want to head on over to the old man, actually. See what he has to say about this entire situation first. Apparently, he knows Zeal somehow. And he's even outright stating that someone has something called the Wings of Time that should allow us to return to that time period. Either way, now we want to head over to 600 AD. Because the thing is about the chests, the black chests, is that there's two kinds of them. Ones that open right off the bat, and ones that give you an option when you open them. And in most of the cases, in fact I believe all the cases where you have a choice to open them, you want to say no. Like this one right here. This box has been in the family for generations. Open it, you may have what's inside. Something is reacting to Venom. Take the item inside? No. More often than not, say no to that. Why? Similarly to the chests in, like, Truce Guardia Castle, the treasure chests that you leave in the past and say no to will have a better item in the future. Which you really want to do, because some of the items you get are really good. And next up, here in Guardia Forest, there is a chest here on the northeastern side of it. This one contains a speed tab. You will be getting a good amount of tabs doing this, and I admit, this is probably one of the worst cases of backtracking in the game, because you do need to go back to a lot of earlier areas just to get all these items.
This is one of the more counterintuitive things, and I don't like it.
Neither do I, but it's not the worst case of backtracking I've ever seen. Final Fantasy, I think it was 8, had a pretty bad case of that late in the game.
Ha! I don't play 8. Sorry. Also, I love how they're running in place.
That's a padding issue. I'm actually not sure what kind of padding algorithm the other party members have to stay behind you. It's not the same as it was in, what's it called? Secret of Mana, because Secret of Mana's padding was outright terrible. But it's better than it should be, honestly. And there's one here on the west wing of Guardia Castle's 4th floor. We want to leave that in there, and also I just talked to the king to show that dialogue off. And next up, we actually want to head down to Poor. Because you might remember there were a few chests of it over in that area. But you know what? Let's check on Fiona, because this is new. That's probably a bad thing. And hey, there's a guy in here now. Her husband Marco's back from the war. So, that's cute and all. And the desert monsters are draining the life out of this entire desert area. In fact, it seems to have grown a bit. And that mystic seedling there, that is actually a descendant of the plant I told that person in Zeal to plant. If you didn't do that, that wouldn't be there. Thankfully, there is a point later on. There's at least 2 points, actually, where you can tell her to do that. So you don't lose out on it yet, if ever. And now here in the poor elder's house, I want to check on these 2 chests and leave them closed. Next up, back in the magic cave, got a magic ring, which is, I believe, just a decent magic boosting accessory, right?
Yeah, it's good though.
Yeah. And now we're back in 1080, so I can actually get the stuff. First off, here in the Truce Inn, let's see what we got in here. We got the blue vest powering up to the blue mail, which now means that the blue vest, which I believe resisted water by like 50%, now absorbs it. And the thing is about things like the blue mail, which first off I'm getting into Robo, is that if you go to the past again and check where that black chest was, it'll still be there. So you can get both the blue vest and the blue mask and the blue mail. Also,
that's
I'm
how
buying
time works. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Also, I'm getting another jerky because it'll come in handy. And now we're back in the poor elder's place. Now you might remember at the start of the game, the dad here was a dick. But after I gave the jerky to his ancestor for free in 600, he's now one of the nicest guys on the planet. Which only really changes something for a side quest later on. But it's still pretty good. You do lose out on that infinite, what was it, like 10 gil?
10 gil.
Anyway, the black
chicken.
Yeah. The black mail absorbs shadow. The white mail, I believe, absorbs ice, right?
The white mail?
Yeah, that absorbs ice. Right?
That's lightning.
Right, because lightning is translated as light in the DS version.
Blue mail absorbs the water.
Right. Also, the Chancellor's still being a dick. I don't even know why I came back here, because he's a dick. Actually, yes, I do, because there's treasure chests I want to get here.
A dick.
But he really is, because he's even saying that the king indirectly killed his wife, which is, as we'll eventually learn, all sorts of bull. I do have to wonder why he's being such a rotten ass.
Well, there was that Chancellor in the 600 that was also a complete ass.
Yeah, but he was a fake one. This guy's real.
Not with that attitude.
Yeah, well, dude, keep in mind, how common are evil Chancellors in RPGs? Surprisingly.
Fair point.
Anyway, now that I'm in 1000, I can actually grab all the chests I left in the 600 AD Guardia Castle to get all the better items from them. And I do go back to 600 off-screen and get all their equivalents, as well as the black chests. This one in particular is actually pretty good. You get a Mega Elixir, which is a pretty early point in the game to get one, actually.
You can get an infinite amount of them as well,
yeah.
Which is really, really, really rare for an RPG.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk to the dad. Dick! I understand that he's worried about his daughter's safety, but there is a point where you just stop being
worried and become an asshole.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm seeing this trope all over the place and everything. Games, TV shows, movies, anime.
Real life!
And he just disowned his daughter. Oh, this is a happy family, isn't it? Also, I just noticed, Ayla's nodding animation actually has more frames to it than Chrono's. Weird.
Yeah. Oh.
And in here, we get the red mail, which absorbs fire. That's actually a pretty good one. You're going to want to have both that and the red vest for stuff later on.
And blackmail as well.
Yeah, but I know, I'm thinking of one particular boss fight. I think you know which one I'm talking about, because it gave you some issues.
That's why, I'm pretty sure that's why I said blackmail as well. Because there's also a shadow attack involved.
Yeah, that's true. Alright, let's try to make up with the dad already. This is why I got the jerky. Something seems to be wrong about the Jerky Boys. Is it a bit rotten? High cholesterol. Woolsey! You know that was probably a Ted Woolsey line. That's all. That just reeks of him. Well, we just got kicked out of the castle.
Well, I mean, what does that do?
That's just an extra cutscene with extra dialogue. I just wanted to show that off, basically. There it is. I always have issues finding that, by the way. You can actually go back into the Hekron cave. Oh, I actually meant to edit that out because I couldn't find the pit. My bad. Oh, well, you got to see me floundering about for about 3 seconds because that point is actually surprisingly specific. Either way, I want to go back into the Hekron cave because there actually was a couple of black chests earlier, if you were paying attention.
I never pay attention.
Well, neither do I, but that's still no excuse.
Ugh.
Hypocrisy. And by that I mean there was like one here, and this is one of the better ones, because you get the wall ring, and
Reflect.
you get the dash ring, which increases speed by a decent chunk. That's almost exclusively going to be staying on a Robo. The wall ring, actually, what does that do in this game? Increased defense? No, magic defense plus 30.
Magic defense. When they saw wall ring, I immediately thought FF6 because reflect.
Yeah.
And that status effect is just the best thing ever.
Yeah, it really is. Especially in the Fanatics Tower.
Hee.
Either way, now that we have the pendant, let's check out this place from earlier. We saw this place's equivalent over in Zeal. Let's see what happens when we use the pendant.
Please tell me you got what I hope you got.
Nah, that depends on what you hope I got, because what essentially is going to happen here is, first off, we get the first time this song plays in the game. I absolutely love this song. It's a great deal of tragic, and I love it. Also, it's weird. I think this is the only time they actually have something this dramatic for having that thing open. We have 2 black chests, and as this new is going to describe, we have a choice to make. Either a great sword or a great helmet. And the thing is, I'm choosing the helmet.
Good.
Because the sword is a great sword. It really is, but it gets outclassed fairly quickly, all things considered. The helmet is one of the best in the game, and I don't think it ever gets outclassed until, like, the end game, really.
I don't think it ever gets outclassed, honestly.
Yeah, I'm going to be using this for, like, the rest of the game. We get the safe helm, which for right now, I'm going to be giving to Marl.
It cuts physical damage by 1/3.
Yeah, and that, if you have the characters with really low HP, which is usually Marl in this game's case, because she's fairly low on HP usually for some reason.
And there's also, oh wait, never mind. Dang it.
You were going to say a thing.
I was gonna say a thing, and then the thing didn't work, so cry a lot.
And I believe we're actually going to go and get our last chest for this whole black chest collection. It's back in the area where we went to 2300 at the first time with the Chancellor looking at us. And in here we get a power ring, which deals some amount of extra strength to you. And for some reason now there's like a spike pit there. And now to end off, we're heading back to 2300 to actually get the stuff we're supposed to get. Let's see what we got in here. Charm top, full leather, wallet. The charm top is the best of those 3 items. It, I believe, doubles the chances of getting an item from charm, right?
Yep, that's what I got.
This should almost always be on Ayla unless there's nothing you want to charm from something. It is so good. And next up, we're back in the, I think it's the Eris Dome?
Dang it.
The first dome.
Tran.
Right, this is the one on the left. But as you can see, they actually now have plants here. These have sprouted. So that means food will eventually be available to them. And in here, we get a gold stud, a full leather, and a magic tab. The gold
Does that
stud,
possibly have to do with the fact that you told the woman to plant the seed?
No, that has to do with the seeds that you found in the Eris Dome towards the beginning of the game. The ones that you gave to the people of it after seeing the cutscene that started us on the Lavos quest.
Oh.
The gold stud is one of the best accessories in the game. It cuts your MP use by so much, it's honestly kind of broken. And now we're back.
75%.
And now we're actually back in the Eris Dome's basement because there's this door you saw way earlier, which has a lot of good stuff in it. Especially the gold earring, which boosts HP by a decent chunk. And a power tab. In terms of those, I forget if I actually, who did get what tab? Magic tab went to Robo, power tab went to Chrono.
Ayla.
Oh, right. That's the thing. At this point, power tabs are going to get a bit more spread out in terms of their use. Chrono is still going to be one of the main people who gets it, but Ayla's going to be getting some, as our Frog. Because a lot of their techs are determined by their physical strength stat. And now we're back at that dome we saw earlier. Technically speaking, I believe this guy was the first new we ever saw, wasn't he? But he seems to be a bit of a robotic one. So let's check the door that the game showed us in that cutscene.
Whoa.
Well,
a whole bunch of tabs.
I sense exposition. This is Balthazar. He is actually from Zeal. Apparently, something happens to Zeal that sent him flying through time. That scene's only ever gone over once, really, aside from this. And what we're essentially reading is his last will and testament. Because Balthazar, I don't believe we ever actually see his sprite again. I believe at this point he's actually dead.
He's the only dead guru out there.
That we see die, at least. Well, even then, I believe there's... I forget what happens in Chrono Cross, actually. So let's see what's behind this door. That is what looks to be the groin of a robot.
Robo has a dick?
But I guess this would be the thing that the old guy spoke of, the wings of time.
Me up.
God. Well then. It took me a while to realize that this guy was pushing seats, by the way.
Was pushing... Oh, just...
Yeah, because those are the seats of this thing. Apparently, Balthazar, what he was doing to this new when we saw him, was that he was essentially programming a version of his own personality into it. Which, I don't know how the hell he would go about doing that, because the news are organic, as far as we're aware. So how would this guy have done that, unless he did some mechanical stuff to him? And we get to name this thing. This is our time machine for the game. The Epic. Or Epoch. I usually say Epic.
Yeah, Epic is the way I pronounce it.
But before we do that, I want to head back into here and grab this magic tab, which is going to Robo. Anyway, the Epic, the way it works is that when you get in it, you press the Y button to get your time gauge up. With it, you can press left and right to select your time. You can go any time period in the game at this point. And that includes the end of time and even 1999, if you want to go and attempt the final boss a bit early. However, it's not worth doing. You are relegated to staying in one position, though. You cannot move the Epoch once you time travel, because it has no real way of actually moving.
No wings.
Yep. Odd, if it's called the Wings of Time, you think it would actually have wings. But I do want to get something actually with it. I want to get something over in 1000. Also, it took me a while to realize you could actually go to the end of time from this thing because it's off the screen, technically. But I do want to go to 1000 to grab an item.
What is the item of which you speak?
You'll see. Also, this background looks like something out of Final Fantasy VI, the On Fire house.
Oh!
I hated that area.
Oh, that part made me sad.
I actually have a bit of PTSD about that background, too, because Final Fantasy VI Advance uses that background for the two super bosses. Omega Buster. No, yeah, Omega Weapon. And, what's it called? Kaiser Dragon. I want to actually head back to Luca's house, because at this point we can get another item from Taban. And we get the Taban suit, which is basically the ultimate in defense for Luca. It has fire-absorbing abilities, or at least cutting abilities. Yeah, Fire Guard up. Speed +3. It is so good, it should never leave her. But with that, we're going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 11, we'll be heading back to 12,000, hopefully, with the Epoch, and seeing what we can do there with that ability now. See you guys then.
Bye. I was quiet. I am sorry.